and welcome back to the Garage Videos. I'm Justice Haga.
I'm Steve Matthews with the eSignature Home team.
We are happy to be with you today. We just wanted to discuss a couple things, or I should say maybe a handful of things that we like to look for when we show properties to buyers.
So you probably know how it works. You're excited about moving to a new home. You're on the computer all day at work. You come home, you call us and say, you won't believe that I found these 6 homes on Zillow. You send them over to us and we immediately shoot them down. And you're like, man, these houses, I love the kitchen. Why are these guys shooting them down? So today we're just gonna talk about 3 things that we really try to pay attention to when you send us one of these properties that is your dream home.
One of the first things that's immediately easier for us to look at and kind of screen through when we see the properties you send us are obviously the photos. Every listing now has a photo, and so one of the first things we do is pull up those photos and take a look through the photos. We really are looking for what is the siding, exterior siding of the home. How is it made? Is it brick? Is it stucco? Is it synthetic stucco? Is it hardy plank cement? Is it stone? Is it LP pressboard siding?
Is it vinyl?
Is it aluminum?
Is it cedar? So we live in Atlanta, so we see all of these products. The big red flag for us is if it is a synthetic stucco siding home, or also known as EIFS stucco. And we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about how it's made. You can Google that and figure it out. But this is a product that when you touch it, it sounds hollow. And there's a big stigma, more than anything, in Atlanta about synthetic stucco homes, and for good cause. I mean, there's been lots and lots of problems for them over the years. So when you send us a synthetic stucco home, we oftentimes say, hey, are you sure you want to go look at this home? There's a reason why it's $30,000 or $40,000 less than the neighbor's house. Is because it's a synthetic stucco home.
That's exactly right. And we're not gonna, once again, we're not stucco experts, but we have had some experience with transactions in the past, and we're gonna immediately direct you to maybe you should do a little bit of Google work and do your homework as a buyer to know this product before you buy it.
If it's a great deal and you want to move forward on it, we say absolutely, we'll get you a good purchase on the home. We recommend a stucco inspection, which is just a certified stucco inspection where they come and drill holes in it, check for moisture, and then you can pay for a yearly stucco bond. To be honest with you, we've sold over 600 homes. I don't think we've sold any synthetic stucco homes because most people say it's not worth the trouble. We have sold synthetic stucco homes where we were the listing agents, and they've been good transactions, and people have lived in these homes for 20 and 30 years and never had a problem, but we just don't want you to be the first. So that's the first thing that we look for, is if it's a synthetic stucco home. And sometimes it'll just simply say stucco on the listing, and you're like, well, is it a hard coat stucco or is it a synthetic stucco? And so sometimes we'll have to do some homework, looking at the tax records, looking at the past sales of the property. And sometimes you can even tell if you get the pictures and you zoom in on the pictures, if you see staining in the corners or staining around the gutters and stuff like that. So number 1, synthetic stucco, we got you clear on that. Number 2, we're going to talk about is the LP siding, which is Louisiana Pacific siding, or also known as a pressed board siding. Again, I've purchased homes with pressed board siding. It's not the end of the world, but it definitely is a defective product. There was a class action lawsuit on LP siding, and it's just something you need to be aware of. So what exactly is LP siding?
Steve is right. LP siding is a product that does make your home, it does look good. It comes in a variety of styles. It may have a bead on the bottom and a wood grain feel. It may be smooth. It may just have a wood grain feel. And so you're going to see this a lot here in the Atlanta.
It is hard to tell if it's a hardy plank siding, concrete siding, or if it's a pressed board siding.
A lot of homeowners who maintain the exterior of their home very well keep their home painted and caulked, and you generally won't be able to see a whole lot of damage or difference for someone who's really keeping up their home. However, we get a lot of sunshine in July and August, and we get a lot of rain, and temperature differences here in Atlanta make for some tough things. What will happen is water is like our #1 enemy for your home. from our perspective. So you're gonna see water will run down the sides of your home. Now anywhere there might be a chip or a nick, or maybe you were cutting the grass and a rock hit it, or maybe it just wasn't put together well, or maybe the home has settled and now you've got some little spacing. Water will run down in these, or what I see commonly, Steve, is water runs over the gutters because they're not cleaned up. We get this splashback to the bottom side of the siding, and now the siding starts to swell.
That's exactly
And
right.
this is the problem with the LP siding.
Yep. So basically the way they manufacture, they take pieces of wood, they press them together. That's why it's called pressboard siding. Over time, those boards start to get moisture inside of them. They pull apart, they swell. Sometimes you can get away with just replacing the bottom 2 layers around your house with like a concrete siding product, and you can leave the rest of the house with pressboard siding and never ever have an issue. But it's just something you want to be aware of as a buyer.
Did we mention the humidity levels in July and August in Atlanta?
Yeah.
This is another, it just is a reality for living in Atlanta.
So there's 2 ways that you can almost immediately tell if it is a pressboard siding house. The first way is you look at it from afar and you'll see the nails going all the way up the side of the house. So when they put the pressboard siding up on the side of the house, they just boom, nail in, boom, nail in, boom, nail in. With hardy plank siding, you're not supposed to see any nails. There's a little area at the top that they tack it in, and that way there's never an exposed nail. Sometimes people take shortcuts and they put a hardy plank siding up and they put some nails in it to hold it in place. It's not the correct way to do it, but we have seen it from time to time. But that's the first way that I can immediately see a house and say, hey guys, that's a pressboard siding. And the problem is those nails over time start to back out, and then you've got this hole where water also can get into where the nails were driven through the board. So that's the first way.
Another way I like to tell from afar is to take a look, and you can literally see, because of the swelling, these boards have moved, and there's a lot more than just a normal pattern of maybe where the boards behind aren't quite in a perfect row. You can see a lot of swelling. And then Steve taught me this trick a long time ago. We call it the fingernail test. You go up to the siding and try to put your fingernail on the bottom side of the piece. And if you can literally push in and put your fingernail in that piece, it's probably LP. And if you can't, that's probably cement siding, and you're probably good to go.
That's it. It's very simple. You see it from afar. If it's got lots of waves, if it's got lots of chips on it, if it's got those nail holes, you'll know that it's a pressboard siding. Walk up to it, take a look up. If you see cracks in the underside, you can put your fingernail in it. It's going to be LP siding. And you can tell if it's in bad shape by the number of those cracks in the bottom.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Yep.
So the third thing we're going to talk about, and then we're going to let you go, is just basically drainage. A lot of times you will send us a home and you'll say, oh, I just love this kitchen and it has a basement, right? We hear that so often. You won't believe it has a basement. Well, real simple, common knowledge. If you got flat ground, it's not going to have a basement, right? You can't dig a hole in the ground and put a cellar. They just don't do that much anymore. So in order to have a basement, you have to have some kind of a slope in order for that basement to work. So what we see often is that the slope starts at the street and goes down, it comes out, and then it goes back down. So we're very apprehensive about buying a home in a hole, because all your neighbor's water, all the water from the street is all going to run into your house, and that's a big problem.
It is. It's something you want to do. Steve and I always recommend to our buyers, hey, please do a drive-by of these homes, because just with a simple drive-by, you can kind of see and get a feel for it. Is the home I'm interested in purchasing going to receive all the water from everyone else's yard, and is it going to collect on our home? It's great to see homes on a rainy day for this reason as well. A lot of times what we'll do to maybe save yourself a drive-by, it doesn't hurt, is to pull up Google Earth and do just a Google map of the home. Hey, where does that
street
home
view.
sit? Do a street view. That way, because photos can be misleading online. We went to one house the other day, a quick little excerpt, and this home looked perfect. But the photos were taken in such a way, and when we got there, we literally had to come, we couldn't even drive down the driveway. It looked too steep. It wasn't, it's a driveway. But we parked on the road, had to walk down the driveway into a hole, but you can never know this from the photos. They were taking it such a great idea, and that's
Great angle so that you don't see it. So real simple, we're not going to, tell you you can't buy a home in a hole. I mean, obviously they're out there, people live in them, but we just want to be very careful that we don't get into a situation where you're fighting the water coming into your home, because like Justin said before, water is the #1 threat to your home, whether it's coming from the roof, or it's coming down your siding, or it's getting into your windows, or any of these other places. We just want to keep water draining away from your home. And new construction, more or less, have done a great job of burying downspouts and things like that, so that it keeps the water and keeps the erosion away from your home.
And we're even seeing now with a lot of new construction that might be built on a lower lot in the neighborhood, they have gently raised the home up, so even though it might sit in a lot, it does slope down away from the
Put a
home. So you see
berm
some
around the
good
house
things.
to keep the water away from it. So, yep, absolutely.
Well, we hope we've answered some of your questions. These are, we do this video because these are probably the top 3 questions we get almost on a daily basis. And so we just wanted to put this out there to let you know. And we want to let you know if you have more questions. Hey, Justice and Steve, we're thinking about buying a home, but we keep coming across this, or we keep coming across this item. Let us know, and we're happy to talk about it. This is our job, this is what we do, and we love doing what we do.
Thanks for watching. Remember, our 3 things were synthetic stucco, pressboard siding, and don't buy a house in a hole. So when you send us those, we expect you to know what we're talking about now.
That's right.
So have a great day.
Take care.